This is the end of the crazy Monday night schedules. So that's because
you're not coming in. You're not coming in during the summer.
It's not the plan, but we'll have on Zoom. But
I'll tell you, Jacob, we're clearly having a see him.
No, I'm saying, I don't know what never night it'll be, but either way, I won't be able to do the Zoom in Bayswater. So, yeah.
Yeah, you used to come in just for that shear. Crazy.
No, I came in. You combine things. I didn't come in just.
That was the Eruv also.
Eruv, this, that. You line them up together. All right.
Eruv over the summer.
Naftali Landau.
Still working on that.
Naftali, I'll split with you. You do 1 week, I'll do 1 week.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. So Imshel Shay.
I love how he didn't offer me the stellar. You know what I mean?
I didn't offer anybody.
What's the matter? You have to be sober when you check the Eruv.
Not you, Peretz, because you don't use it.
That's true.
You don't either use it and you check it.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't use it then either. Yeah. Okay.
What the Mitman truck is the one that takes care of the Eruv? Like I'm saying, I see these guys
every week is somebody else fixing the Eruv.
He was by Burnside 878 doing something over there by the
Mitman. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I'm saying between me and you, I'm not so happy that we have to check the Eruv so early. It's checked at like 7 a.m. on Friday. 7:30, 8. Sometimes I'll check it really late, 9:30.
Why?
And that gives you a whole Friday where it can go down.
Right.
But the electricians...
I told you during Erev, you got to take it down at least one Shabbos a year just for the fundraiser.
They tried, but
now you have a chazaka. Forget about it.
We don't have a chazaka.
Why? It hasn't been down ever in the past who knows how long.
Yeah, but it's down every week. It just gets put up.
Oh.
There's no chazaka on this Erev. There is no chazaka.
Really?
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows
I think we should go to the Daf and not talk about this, okay?
Azara, Erevin.
You were saying that nobody will let you take it down because what? There's a simcha every week?
Yes, Baruch Hashem. This every week.
What about Shabbos Chazon?
I don't know. I'm not Baruch Hashem. I don't have a shul. I ain't involved in any policies or anything like that. So yes, if they would do it like 6 months in advance, decide which Shabbos, then I don't see why it shouldn't work.
Tucker, you said you don't have a shul. Tucker, you said you don't have a shul. Keyword was there yet?
No, there was not word yet. No, there was no word yet.
It's called plausible deniability.
The offers keep coming, my friend. The offers keep coming. But there's another thing they haven't figured out. They haven't figured out how to take care of the boardwalk. That's the oilam should stop carrying there. So, right? So
Yaakov, the guy has food from 550. Can he use the Eruv?
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, okay.
Baron, if he wears a lace top for sure.
Is a lace top hoitzah to carry hoitzah, right? Is this hoitzah?
You give a share on the Eruv once during the summer.
What?
On our current Eruv.
We were supposed to have a tour together. We never got on the same page.
No.
Yeah.
Well, now you're telling us it's 7:30 in the morning. Forget about it.
True. Yes, it's true. That's what I tell guys. Guys say, "Can I come look at the Eruv?" I said, "No problem. No problem. 7:30. I don't want to go look at the Eruv." Okay. Anyway, it's something about it. Okay, it's a short top, so we don't have to be so worried. Yeah. So imshel shem meis zeh olav. Right. So we said that if one of them died, right? You have the two seirim. That's what we were dealing with this whole parak. Two seirim, the two goats, right? And they have to have the goyrel together. But what happens if one of them died? So the Mishna says, so if shame, then shame is the code word for the one that's going to use the blood to sprinkle, right? Then you replace it. And if you have the one for Azazel, you replace that. So there's going to be a Machlokes now, exactly which one do you bring? Because now you have 3 animals. You have 3 goats, right? Let's say the Azazel died, correct? So now you have the one that was meant to be schechted in the Beis Hamikdash, and now you have two more. So which ones are you bringing? You only use 2 out of 3. So which 2 out of 3 are you bringing? So that's a Machlokes. Amar Rav. Right, and we're gonna have this Machlokes for the next blot and a half. So Amar Rav, Rav says Sheni shebezug rishon yikrav. The second one from the first pair is the one that you're makriv. Right? Again, we're talking about if the Azazel one died. So now you bring 2 new goats. One is for the Azazel, and one is going to be for the korban. But you have 2 for the korban because you have from the first set, and you have from the second set. So he's saying, Rav says it's the second one from the first set. That's what you makriv. And Sheni shebezug Sheni yira. And the second one from the second set is you put it out to graze. Yochanan Amar Sheni shebezug rishon yira. He says the opposite. The second one of the first one, the second one of the first set goes out to graze. Sheni shebezug Sheni yikrav, and you bring the second one from the second set. So basically, the Machlokes is: do you bring the original goat or do you just bring the new goat? The new goat, right? So Michael is like, what's a Machlokes Talian? Rav Savar balei chayim ein nitchen. Rav says balei chayim, anything that's live that became pasul and then becomes kosher again is fine. So it's not nidchen. I mean, it doesn't get pushed off forever. Rav Yochanan Savar balei chayim nidchen. Rav Yochanan holds no, balei chayim are nidchen, meaning once an animal becomes pasul, it stays pasul. It can't get back kosher. So when you have these 2 goats and one of them dies, so the other one becomes pasul. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, it became pasul, it's out. You can't use it anymore. So you got to use both new goats. And Rav says no, it became pasul temporarily. Once you hook on its twin, once you put another twin back onto it, then it's going to come back to being kosher. Yeah. So my time with the Rav. So why does Rav say that it's only doichet temporarily and it comes back? The yolef mechuser zman, because we learned it out from what we were learning yesterday from mechuser zman, meaning when somebody says he's bringing the animal less than 8 days old, right? So we said less than 8 days old, you're not allowed to bring a korban. But let's say somebody did it, right? So then you wait till it becomes 8 days old. So mechuser zman lav afagav the hashta loy chazi. Now. Right now it's not chazi because it's not 8 days old yet. Ki hadar michsi shaper dami, when it becomes chazi, meaning after 8 days old, then you can bring the korban. Hachanami loishnasa, here too, doesn't make a difference. Meaning here too, one of the goats became pasul, and then it became kosher again. Right? Again, with learning it out from you, somebody says he's going to bring a korban of an animal that's less than 8 days old. So what do? Let's say it's on the 5th day. So you wait 3 days, and then it becomes kosher. So that's something that was not kosher for a korban and then became kosher. So Rav is saying same thing here. When that goat died, so the other goat became not kosher. When you hook it up with the new goat, then it became kosher again. So it should be fine. So Gemara asks me dummy, but are the 2 cases similar? Hasam lo yeschaze klal. There, by the animal before it was 8 days old, it wasn't roy at all. And then it became roy. Hacha nira v'nidcha. Here it was roy because when it had its original goyrel, they both were roy, and then it became not roy when the other animal died. Right? So it's not you can't compare it exactly to the case of the 8 days. Again, the one that was less than 8 days old was not roy and then became roy, and this one was roy and then became not roy. Right? Ella. So Ella Hainu Timer. So what's the reason for Rav? Hainu Timer the Rav. The Olav mi Baal Mum Oiver. He learns it from a Baal Mum Oiver, meaning an animal can have a mum and then it can get healed. That's a Baal Mum Oiver. Many times the mum is never coming back, right? But a Baal Mum Oiver means the mum is never, meaning it's never healing. And Baal Mum Oiver means it has a mum now and it's gonna heal. Baal Mum Oiver lav afagav deloi chazi. Right, even though right now the loy chazi hashta, even though it doesn't work now, it's because it has a mumki hadar michsi shaber dami. When it becomes good, then it's good, right? Hachanami loishna. So too here, the seir became pasul when its partner seir died, and then it became kosher again. So why can't you learn out from a mum that's a mum over, as we call it? That's how Rav knows that you can bring the original goat. So v'hasa minalan, and how do you know that a mum over becomes back to being kosher? Maybe the mum over becomes a bal mum and it's no good and it stays like that. So the chsid ki mashchasan behem mum bam, because when they get mashchasan, when they get ruined, then they're gonna have a mum. Mum bam hu delay yiratzu. Only when it's in them, that's when you can't bring it delay yiratzu. That's not gonna be accepted. Ha'avar mumman yiratzu. But once the mum passes, then it's gonna be accepted. Right? It has to be mum bam yiratzu. But Rabbi Yochanan miyut rachmana behem. So Rabbi Yochanan, what does he learn? Because Rabbi Yochanan holds that a passing mum is a problem. Rabbi Yochanan miyut rachmana behem heim hu dechi avar mumman yiratzu. Only, I'm sorry, I said he holds mum over also, but he holds that by Yom Kippur, once the goat becomes no good, then it stays no good. So how come it's different than a mum over? Rabbi Yochanan's mind that a mum over works, right? Rabbi Yochanan miyut rachmana behem, right? That what heim hu dechi avar mumman yiratzu, by a mum over, that's where it's going to be reaccepted once the mum goes away. Hakol dechuyin. But anything else that gets pushed off, since it gets pushed off, it gets pushed off. Okay, and how does the Rav hahu behem? What does he do with the word behem? That's only when it's be'en, meaning you have the animal right in front of you and it has a balmum. But if the mum gets mixed in with a whole mixture of kosher of animal pieces, then it's going to be accepted. Meaning, that's when you have a balmum, an animal of balmum by itself. So that's what we're talking about. What happens if that animal is the mum, you schechted it, and then all the pieces, let's say all the legs or all the arms of the animal, got mixed in with each other, and you know one of them is a mum and the other ones are not. So Rav is saying that when it's a taruvis, it's going to be accepted. Because we learned, let's say you had limbs of a tamimim, a complete animal, not a complete, meaning you had no mum, that got mixed in with limbs from a balei mumin. So Rabbi Eliezer says, if the head of one of these animals was already brought on the mizbeach, yakrivu kol Russian kulan, you could bring all the heads. And if the legs of one of them was brought, yakrivu kol karayim kulan, you could bring all the legs. Right? Now, what's a pshat in this? This is one of the more rabban. Once we're on difficult things to understand from the tzitzis, we could add this one to it. Right? So what is it? This is called your classic case of taruvas. You had one treifa thing that got mixed in, let's say one head of an animal that had a mum, and it got mixed in with 10 animals. Right? So Rebbe Lezer is saying, as long as one head was brought up, we can assume that the one head that was brought up was the treifa one or the mum one, and everything else is okay. Right? That's what you do, right? With the Ramah Paskins, that when you have a treifa piece of meat that gets mixed in with 2 kosher, make it in all 3 are kosher, however you understand that. Right? But the Ramah says, take one out and throw it out. So now what? So that gives us a 33% chance, or maybe it's a 66, whatever it is. It's not, whichever way you want to look at it, but that's what you do. So that's exactly, okay, right? That's...
but I guess it takes you out of the vada if you eat all 3 pieces.
Right, but the Lamaisa meat would be paskin, all 3 pieces are kosher. The Ramah
I understand,
says,
but if you eat all 3 pieces, you for sure ate treif.
No, see, that's not, no, it's not. It becomes kosher. It's very difficult. I said it's a difficult
I hear
thing.
you.
You need a you need a l'chaim or 2 to understand this.
I'm doing beer tonight, so it's gonna take me a long
I think tonight was.
Can we do this with real cheeseburgers and fake cheeseburgers?
You can't do it on purpose. It's if it happened. If the mixture happened, then yeah.
Jesse, if you want to bring in 2 kosher cheeseburgers to McDonald's, is that your case?
Possibly.
Okay.
But that whatever it is, he's saying a similar case here. Yeah.
This is mashma even without a real.
This is mashma maybe without a roiv, yes. As long as it's a mixture.
Yeah, straight taruvas, 50-50.
As long as it could be even 50, you're right. It's a good point. This is being because of the pasuk. The pasuk's telling you as long as the mum is in a mixture, right? Then that's right. So that's it. No, but and the mela, meaning midday you can just put all these things onto the mizbeach. Again, we're not talking about eating here because we're talking about korbanos. Everything's being put onto the mizbeach. So according to the Torah, that's exactly what Rav is saying. Bohem is telling you that only if you have a piece that had a mum, but if it got mixed in midaraisa, it's no problem. The Rabbanon said don't do it. So if you take one piece and one piece was already taken out, then that will take out the Rabbanon. That will take out the Rabbanon too. That's the way the Gemara and Zvachim really goes with this. But anyways, but that's where we get. That's the practical or not so practical of this thing. Parrots, I bet you drop in a tray for piece of meat into 2 kosher pieces of meat and try and serve it at the Siyum Be'ez Hashem and see if anybody's going to eat it. All right, try it. Don't try it.
You save a lot of money.
Yes, yeah.
Rabbi Brown had a batul b'shishim situation, I think, with his wife, and he felt you have to eat the children because otherwise it's like you're going against the halacha. So he did comment it's very tasty.
Okay, then that's a problem.
Isn't it a
That's what
prima
I heard
garden?
secondhand.
Doesn't the prima garden bring a machlokes whether this is baltashkas midiraisa midrabanan? Where it's
I don't know which one it
with
does. The Pischei Tshuva brings down at Sahad that if something's batul b'shishim and you try not to eat it, then you're not bikaris.
So I had that shiloh with the.
How come tasty? Isn't the whole point about the there's no taste? The whole svara behind it.
It's only if you taste the treif.
He was making a joke. He was making a joke.
But even if he did,
against the whole svara.
Yeah. No, but it's not. No, it's okay.
But this is midamino we're talking about. There's no taste anyway.
Right.
To get us back on the topic before we go sidetracked, the Yaya Nesach, I had bought a sherry schnapps, and I didn't realize I was halfway through. I wasn't sure to drink the sherry or baltashlis. I decided it's unhealthy to drink anyway, so in the stomach you can't say it's baltashlis, considering that I was 8 drinks in.
Okay, parents, we don't need to do confession over here now. Okay. Anyways, but that's where this whole concept comes from. So that's what Rav is saying, that when you mix in the din min Torah is that when a bal mum, avarim, limbs from a bal mum get mixed in with others, you're allowed to put it onto the mizbeach. But chamarim afilu karvu kulon chutz me'achman. Even if you bring all the limbs except for one of them, right? Then you would think that one for sure should be okay. Yetzel beis hasreifa, no, you're not allowed to put it onto the mizbeach because they hold that the taruvas, any sort of taruvas, is going to be usher to put it onto the mizbeach. V'idach, right? Now, how does Rabbi Yochanan know this halacha of the mixtures? Nafkalei mi bam fahem. He learns it out that it said it with a hey. It could have just said bam. It said bahem to tell you that extra hey is telling you both limudim. V'idach bam bahem loy darish, and Rav is going to say bam and bahem. He doesn't darshan. Okay, so then the Gemara says, "Rav nehinam the balei chayim ein nidchen." Good. So Rav holds that balei chayim are not nidchen, meaning that first goat became puzzle when its partner died, right? And now it's becoming kosher again. So if that's the case, ibai hay nakriv, ibai hay nakriv. So then why is Rav saying you have to bring the first one? They're both kosher, right? Why do you have to specifically bring one? Bring whichever one you want, right? So Gemara answers.
I was going to ask originally, according to Rav, that you bring the first one. When he does the second hagrala, does he put the two wooden boards? Does he put them both down on the new seirim, or does he just put the lazazel down? Why should it be kaira shame to the other one? He did the hagrala properly. Let him just put the lazazel placard down. Don't even be kaira shame to the second lashem.
I don't know.
Then you get out of this problem.
You mean you want to know which one to put it on?
No, he does the hagrala. He put both his hands in the box. He pulls them both out.
Right.
Whichever one says lazazel, he puts that on that goat. The other one he ignores, puts it back in the box.
I know, but what does that help you for the third goat? What are you doing with the third goat?
The third goat is just kodshim. It's not lashem.
But that's what they're arguing about. What do you do with the third goat?
But what? 1 second.
We got 3 goats here now.
It's only a shaila if I call the third goat lashem. Why am I calling the third goat lashem?
Why not?
What does it gain me?
Because
Just
it was
leave
Lashem. If the Azazel one died, so then you have the original Lashem one.
Yeah, leave the original lashem. When I do the second hagrala, I bring 2 new goats because I need a new hagrala. I need a new gyral. So I do the gyral by putting the kohen rather does the new gyral, puts both his hands in, pulls them out. Whichever hand says lazazel, he puts that one on the goat. The other one he ignores.
Yeah, okay. I hear.
Why doesn't that, according to code, why the Kolyami, you get around everything?
I don't think you're looking to get around. It's just we're trying to figure out which one you should bring. Well, who says ignoring?
No, but why?
Goat?
I can only have that shaila if the second one of the second pair I call Lashem. So let's not call it Lashem. Why am I calling it Lashem? To put us in a new problem.
I don't think it's a problem. It's just why shouldn't you bring both second goats? Who says?
Because the first goat is Lashem. The first goat is good. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem is it doesn't have a pair. So I do a new gyral. Now it has a pair.
I understand, but maybe that's not the right thing to do. That's all. He's just not sure which way is the right thing to do.
What is being mechayev us to do to put the new Lashem card?
Because you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to use a pair.
Yeah. Meaning, how do you know which way do you go with this whole thing? Right? You use the old one to do it. Why should the old guy lose? This guy was going to have a schus. Let's call it a schus to die. Okay.
If you don't have a pair, maybe you're being marked of it.
Yeah.
It's not the shaila here. The shaila is whether balei nidkim or not.
But that's
I'm saying according to Rav that it's not nidche. Why are we even going so far as to call the second goat of the second pair Lashem? Just leave it the way it is. You're using the first goat anyway, even if you go all the way. So why am I going all the way and calling it Lashem? You already have one that's Lashem.
I don't know. Okay, let's see about it. It's a little late. Okay, so now we have a freebie on this next Gemara. So again, the Gemara, because we just had this Gemara. So again, we're asking according to Rav, if you're saying balei nachayim and not nidcha, so maybe this is what you're asking. So bring this one or bring that one. Who cares which one, right? Why does it have to be the first goat from the first group? It can be any of them. Maybe that's what you're asking, Gershon. I don't know. So Amar Rav Sover like Rabbi Yossi, the Amar mitzvah berishon. No, he holds like Rabbi Yossi, who holds that it's a mitzvah berishon. Okay. Hey Rabbi Yossi, which Rabbi Yossi is it? He named Rabbi Yossi the Kupas. If it's Rabbi Yossi the Kupas, right? We had this, I think Shabbos is daf. The Tnan shalosh Kupas shalosh son sheben tarmin esalishka. There were 3 boxes. Each one held 3 saw that they bought the truma to the money for the lishka. Because of an Aleph Beis Gimel, and it was written Aleph Beis Gimel. The Tanya Amar Rabbi Yossi Lama Kosov an Aleph Beis Gimel. How come each box says Aleph Beis and Gimel? Leida Ezement Nitro Marishan, to tell you which one was given first. Which one did they take out the coins first? Lahavi Amen Rishon, because whichever one they took the coins out first, that's where they should take the money from first. Shem mitzvah berishan, because it's a mitzvah berishan. So you see that it's always a mitzvah to go with the first one, which is what Rav is maybe saying, that he holds like Rabbi Yossi, that since the first one the first goat was already chosen, so go with the first one. Then when it answers no, Dilma Shani also, maybe Shkolim is different. The Be'idna de Ischazi Kamaisa, because when the first one was already fit, meaning once you filled up the first pushka of all the money, Lo Ischazi Basraisa, the last one wasn't yet fit because it wasn't full. But by the Seirim of Yom Kippur, they already roy right away. So you can't compare the two. Right? Because again, maybe only the reason why Rabbi Yosef there is saying to go with the first one is because the first one was the only one that was the game. It was only game in town at that point because the other boxes weren't full. Rabbi Yosef the Pesach must be talking about Rabbi Yosef korban Pesach. The Tanan hamafish pischay v'avad, somebody who separated his korban Pesach and then he got lost. V'ifrish achar tachtav, and then he separated another one under it. V'achar kach nimtza rishon, and then he found the first one. Right. So harei shnehen oimdin, and now you have two. Again, he separated korban Pesach, he lost it, so he got a new korban Pesach, and now he found the old one. So now he's got two korban Pesachs. So which one is he supposed to bring? Right? So harei shnehen oimdin. Ezemen sheyirtze yikrav divrei chum. The chum say, bring whichever one you want. Rabbi Yosef Amar, no, mitzvah berishon. It's a mitzvah to do with the first one. Right? But if the second one was a nicer animal, then you bring that one. So you see that according to Rabbi Yossi, the first one was chosen is the one that you should go with. Fine. So that's why Rav says to go with the first animal, the first seir, and not to go with the second set. Fine. Now the Gemara has a whole shakla with Rava and Rabbi Yochanan. Yes, Amar Rava, Deika Mastisa Kavasei de Rav. Braysa Kavasei de, I'm sorry, Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. Amar Rava, Deika Mastisa Kavasei de Rav. Our Mishna sounds like Rav is correct. Braysa Kavasei de Rabbi Yochanan. The braysa sounds like Rabbi Yochanan is correct. Mastisa Kavasei de Rav. The Mishnah sounds like Rav the Katani, because we learned Im shel shame mace. What does the Mishnah say? If the shame, meaning the one that's going to Hashem, meaning the one that's going to be schechted in the Beis HaMikdash, so the one that the goyrel went for shame, you replace that one, right? So what is that mashma? That the one that's dead gets replaced, but the other one does not get replaced. The idach kidekoi koi, right? Whichever one of the goats is the one that didn't die, that stays, right? Meaning it's mashma from our Mishnah that the animal that died you replace, the other animal that survived stays, right? So that's mashma like Rav. Braysa, because again, Rav said you bring the original, you don't bring the second one. Braysa the Kavasei Rabbi Yochanan, the braysa is like Rabbi Yochanan, the Ketani, Sheni, Eni Yadei, and Sheni Shibazug Rishon. The braysa says that the second one is, we don't know if it means the second one of the first pair, Im Sheni Shibazug Sheni, or does it mean the second goat from the second pair? So Kashu Omer Yamar Chai, when he says that it should be standing up alive, means but not if it's not. You only bring a seir yomar chai, standing alive. So the Gemara is saying it means it's standing alive, and not if its friend is dead. My mashma, why is it mashma that? It says yomar chai. What does that have to do with its friend? Yomar chai v'loy shekvar omar. It means it has to be standing chai together with another one, not one that already stood alive and then its friend died. So that's what we're saying. So the braysa is mashma that you only bring the first one when its friend, meaning its co-goat is still alive. But if its co-goat is no longer alive, so then that one goes by the wayside.
It seems like the braysa is not mashma. The braysa is saying it outright, while the Mishnah is only implying it.
Yeah, the braysa. Yeah, I think only because my mashma. So if it's mashma from the words.
Right, I think the Gemara is asking on the actual drasha, but it seems like the braysa is not meduyak like it. The braysa, I guess that's what it means. Dekim my sneeze and kavasida and braysa. It's not the braysa mamish says like Rabbi Yochanan. It's not meduyak like him. It says like him.
Right. Yeah, and
Mishnah is only meduyak like him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I hear it's a good point. Okay, so let's see. So now the Gemara has a series of questions on Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. Tanan, so we learned in the Mishnah, right? In our Mishnah, Va'oid Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda said Nishva Chadam. So if the blood got spilled, right? So Yomas Mishtaleach, then the goat, meaning the blood from the animal in the Beis HaMikdash. There's two goats, right? One gets shechted in the Beis HaMikdash, that we sprinkle the blood. One gets sent out. So if the one that's in the Beis HaMikdash spills, then its co-goat dies. Mesa mishtaleach, and if the goat that was supposed to be sent out dies, yishafech hadam. Then the one in the Beis HaMikdash, you have to spill out the blood and start again. Right? That's the shita of Rabbi Yehuda. So Bishlam Rabbi Yochanan Damar Balei Chaim Nitchin So this makes sense according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says that balei chaim, once they're pushed off, they're pushed off. So here too, it got pushed off, right? Because its co-animal died. So then the other one is not good. It's not kosher as long as the other its co-animal is dead. And now it died. So now it's not kosher. So that's why the one that gets sent out has to die. But according to Rav, who says balei chaim don't get pushed off forever, they just get pushed off until they become kosher again. Why should the mishtaleach die? It becomes kosher again. According to Rav, you can bring it right as soon as you bring a new partner, right? As soon as you bring a new partner, that's it. So Rav will tell you, leave it to Rabbi Yehuda loikami. Now I'm not going according to Rabbi Yehuda, right? Because according to Rabbi Yehuda, enachanami. Ki amina leave it to Rabbanon. I'm only going according to the Rabbanon, right? So therefore, it's his whole din is not said according to Rabbi Yehuda. So Gemara asks, Bishlam al Rav. So it's good according to Rav Pligi, Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanon. That's the Machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanon. Whether we say that something that gets pushed off forever, or it can get if it's pushed off temporarily and it comes back, then it's kosher. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, what are they arguing about? Right? What's the machlokes according to Rabbi Yochanan? Why are they arguing? Rabbi Yochanan holds that everybody holds that once it gets pushed off, it's pushed off forever. So Amrava, what do you mean? There's no kasha. We already said that the Mishnah is like Rav, not like Rabbi Yochanan. You want to bring a kasha from our Mishnah to Rabbi Yochanan? We said that our Mishnah doesn't go like Rabbi Yochanan. Our Mishnah goes like Rav. So what are you asking? There's no kasha. There's no kasha in Rabbi Yochanan. Right? Because there is. It's an interesting thing. There is a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. The Mishnah is a kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. But we already said that our Mishnah doesn't go like Rabbi Yochanan. The braysa goes like Rabbi Yochanan. The Mishnah does not go like Rabbi Yochanan. Okay, we'll stop here because the next Gemara goes for another half an hour. Tomorrow, Mez Hashem, I probably will have. I may have to do daf earlier. Got a chasana, so I don't know if I'll put it out on the chat. All right, fine. Good Nacht.
Yago, you going solo?
Don't know what I'm doing.
Have a good night.
Who's that?
Nafali, minor. I'm still in Lakewood. I didn't get to leave.
I know that, but who's the kids talking?
My kids are getting into the car now. They're getting ready to I came out.
It's way too high, Naftali.
I don't know. It's connected to the car. I was sitting in the car by myself. All right. Have a good night.
Hold on. Gershon, of all people, you're complaining about the background noise? Of all people? Are you kidding me?
What? My volume is too loud, or is this bad background noise?
Wow. I could tell you what time your kids went to bed and who your wife is fighting with on the phone.
Ooh, man. Parents, I think you missed your call as mashkiach of a yeshiva.
I was going to say,
wait, you've got to tell her that.
I joined the dance just for
and this is when he had a beer. This is not even hard alcohol. This is after a beer.
That was a keg, though.
We call it a growler.
Yeah. How many growlers in a keg?
Did he hear you?
Anyhow, I can speak.
Yeah,
I may go to the chasana.
Ain't that a chiddush? Okay.
Yeah, it is a chiddush, only because my kid wants to go out to eat.
Oh, I ain't interested in doing that.
Well, I didn't invite you, but I could drop you off at the wedding.
I don't want to spend that much time by the wedding.
Because I was going to say, I don't either. I'll walk in with you and walk right out.
Whose wedding is this?
Halpern.
Yitzi Shmuley Halpern.
Oh, well. Very nice. Okay, gotta go.
Oh,
I get to know.
I missed Myra, but early now I got to go run to Shayasha in the pouring rain.
Gershon, can I make fun of you, Gershon? Can I make fun of you one more time?
Of course, absolutely.
Gershon, can I call you in 5 minutes?
Parents, for you anytime. Anytime.
All right, fellas.
Oh, Gershon,
I wasn't making fun of me. You're making fun of your brother.
I understand, but still, you know what I mean? Gosh, I make fun of my
Have a
brother.
good one, Terrence.
Hold on, I'll make fun of
No,
my
no,
brother.
you do that.
Let me check my schedule. 3:40 in the morning works? Yeah, no, you sure? Yeah, okay.
I've tried that. It never works, though.
Exactly. All right. L'chaim, I'll speak. to
Have
you.
a good one. L'chaim.
Bye.